Oscar Bevis, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast here in Liverpool for a mega Liverpool fight week. And of course it involves one of the Smith brothers, because I feel like everywhere I turn, there's just a Smith brother. I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't 100 Smith brothers and there was 90 odd that we didn't know about.
Yeah. No, do you know what? It's we've been really lucky in terms of, you know, the big nights we've had as a family. Everyone knows in sport, you know, there's luck plays a big part, as well as, you know, injuries and stuff like that. But you know, the main ingredients is success, and we've been really successful as a family, so we've had some really good nights.
Obviously you're retired now, but I'm going to have to ask the question. Is it being around these sort of things, does it give you that little buzz that just makes you go, wish I could have hung on for a couple more years?
Yeah, do you know what? Listen, it's I'll always miss boxing. Boxing will always be my life. I can't be, you know, one of the Smith brothers and not be around boxing, so it's going to be something that I'm always going to be in and around until basically Callum retires, and then hopefully we have a little break from it, and then we'll see what comes up to afterwards, because, you know, our Paul's little lad's got a good little career going for himself now, and we'll see what happens.
I'm just going to tell you now, when Callum retires, you are still going to be around boxing, Steve. And I don't want to be that guy, but I think that's how it's going to be. Yeah, this is a massive fight for the city, and I've asked a couple of the guys from Liverpool. I'm a London boy. Tell me about the rivalry, north and south. Is there a little bit of tension there?
Yeah, there's always, like, you know, there's bits of, I don't like the word banter, but you know what I mean, back and forth with the South Enders and us in the north. But it becomes more apparent when you have a night like this, when you know, the city sort of split, and it's us v them type of thing. So I think it'll be a bit of a raucous atmosphere anyway, because of the COVID break we've had. With, there's been no big events, and everyone's finally, like, you know, let out the case, everything. So the arena will be chocker, and the atmosphere will be bouncing anyway. But with the sort of us v them like sort of atmosphere, I do think it'll be a good hot atmosphere on the night.
And in terms of the fight, it's not a crossroads, because I suppose it's Fowler's biggest step up, and Liam's fought at the highest of elite levels. He keeps using the word levels as well, Liam. Is that how this is? Liam is levels above Anthony Fowler?
Yeah, of course, he's under his levels to this fight, but it's just laughable to me that people keep going on about, like, Liam's age. Liam's 33, Fowler's 30 himself. Like, the age.
33 is fuck all in boxing, really, isn't it?
Mate, listen, I know through all my own career, I know where you're at different stages, and it obviously depends on the fight and the miles on the clock and stuff. And, you know, people forget Anthony's 30 years of age, and he had a lot of miles on his clock in the amateurs. I've never seen anyone get cut as many times as an amateur. Never mind, you know, the wear and tear he had on, you know, through a career, which he had a very successful career, by the way. But fighting at a higher level does put miles on the clock. So, you know, it's credit to him, the level he got to in terms of winning the Commonwealth Games and going to the Olympics. Well done, pat on the back for it, but it does put miles on the clock also. You know, the big nights he had, you know, and the big tough fights he had at that level with top class internationals. So he's turned pro with miles on the clock already, and he's 30 years of age now. He's still, you know, he's going on about this being, you know, the acid test, and he's up for a tough night and stuff like that. He's only had one tough night which he lost, so he's got all the questions to answer. You know what I mean? We're happy, we're confident, and, you know, the questions are only on one side of the ring. And as much as Shane wants to talk about how good the camp's been, you know, anyone experienced being in there for 12 rounds will tell you, your camp's your camp. Listen, you want to have a good camp going into fights, but there's fights when you've gone in camps where you've had injuries and niggles and you've got through. What matters is the 12 rounds, and, you know, the questions you're asking yourself when you're starting to get tired, you know, when you're wondering, you know, how's he feeling and stuff, then them questions will all be answered on the night, and it's something that Liam's been through before, it's hard and tested, and, you know, we're excited.
Is it quite an easy, not an easy shot or a cheap shot, but is it quite easy to say that, talk about Liam's age, just because you could list off 10 or so fights where Liam's been sort of the main attraction? So it was easy to just go, you know what, Liam's been about for a while, he's had loads of massive fights, he's old. Is it sort of an easy shot to say that? Listen,
you know, clutching at straws comes to mind. I mean, when you've got a sort of, listen, it's a big mental battle, boxing, and if you're in Anthony Fowler's corner, you've got to sort of try and pick the bones out of your opponent. What can he say about Liam other than he's older than Fowler? You know, he's more experienced, he's boxed at a higher level, he's proved and performed at a higher level. He's done everything, ticked every box Fowler hasn't done. You know, Fowler's yet to do. It's all well and good saying he's got the potential to do this and he's got the potential to do that, but how much potential is really left if he loses again at 30 years of age? Where does he go? You keep trying to clutch his straws, you always know where does Liam goes if he loses, where does Fowler go? Eddie's going on about he can put him back in the English title fights and stuff, but a 30-year-old Olympian coming back at probably 31 years of age going to fight for English title, I mean, come on, mate, who's going to buy tickets after you've lost again? Do you know what I mean? That's the brutal honesty of it. So trying to clutch his straws and build it like all the pressure's on Liam, but Shane said himself on there, there's pressure on Anthony as well, and we know that. It's a Scouse derby again, so let's see on the night, and let's see who does perform under the lights.
Every time I talk to someone about the fight, I'm just looking forward to it more and more. It's going to be a mad night. Let's quickly talk about Callum. I say quickly, but that knockout was definitely quickly. I expected him to look good, but I didn't expect him to look that good. And I suppose there's still a bit of mystery around him and Buddy because he got the job done so quickly.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, listen, like we know, obviously we've seen him. He done 6 weeks out in LA with Buddy, and when you speak to Callum, you know how happy he was and how confident he was that it was a good relationship and they gelled well. And we were excited to see what happens when he comes back. So when he come back, he was training in Liverpool, so we were in the gym watching him every day and stuff. And it was good. It was a good buzz to sort of sit and feed off Buddy and listen to what he says and how he puts his points across. It's brilliant to see how his way of going about things and the way he'll pick the points in Callum and adjust do little adjustments with him and put it across. And he just sort of commands respect the way he says it. And it's he's got a good method of training, the way he goes about it. I like the way he works, and I think it's a good relationship with Callum. And as I say, we haven't seen nothing yet because of the fight, but it was a devastating performance. It wasn't nice to see. To be honest with you, we're not in this game to see bad knockouts like that. You want, obviously I was there and I want my brother to win, but I want both fighters to go home safe to the families. Same as Saturday night. I want Liam to win, but I don't want anything bad to happen to Anthony or to either fighter. I want all the fighters to go home safe to the families. It's a sport at the end of the day, and that was probably the most scary knockout I've ever seen. Just that was having a commotion on the floor, and usually you see in every knockout, and the paramedics get in. They're always there straight away. Every credit to them, and they get the oxygen on. They put him in recovery. They sit him on a stool, and then when he stands up, the crowd's all clapping, and everyone gets on with it. Then they loosened the ropes with this time and just got him out on a stretcher right out the arena, and we never seen or heard not until that night. So it was a scary time. It was hard to sort of mute the celebrations and stuff, but thankfully he's okay, and he sent Callum a nice message that night and was just thanking him for his respect and that.
Like you say, good to see that Castillo's okay, and look forward to seeing where Callum goes next. Just finally, because I don't want to keep you too long, Wilder Fury 3, is the saga finally going to be over? Finally? Because it feels, I know it's been going on for 3 years, but it feels like it's been going on for 30 years.
I think any sort of trilogy that was going to happen in and around COVID was sort of going to be dragged out anyway, so I do feel for them both in that sense. But I think it sort of added to the time, the gap that Wilder's had to sort of change trainers and stuff. The gap's probably helped him more than it has Tyson. I think Tyson wants to get it done out the way and move forward. And as much as I still think Tyson's the favourite in the fight, I do think it's a dangerous night. I think it a lot depends on what we sort of know what we're going to get from Fury. He's going to bring his A game, and I just think a lot of questions to be asked from Wilder, and how does he come back from the beating he took. So it'll be interesting. I'm excited to see it. Do you know what I mean? Hopefully, I'm still up celebrating Liam's fight, and I can watch that, and hopefully see a good night. But we'll see what happens with it. Again, I do think Fury's a big favourite, but I am interested. I'd never like to punch it off like Wilder.
Can you liken sort of the mind games? I know Fury's like elite level at mind games, and I didn't think he'd get Wilder to bite yesterday, and obviously he did because he's just that good at it. But can you liken it to any sort of point maybe you or any of the Smith boys have had in your career where there's just someone that has that niggle that no matter what you do, even if you're better than them, there's just that niggle that they just can get over you? Yeah,
listen, in this game in boxing, you come across so many people who you just take a disliking to, the way they speak. They're just different backgrounds to yourself, different sort. You get some like the cocky ones and stuff, and you'll just see them and think, I don't like him. And if you come across and actually you're fighting them and you're in a head-to-head and whatever, then you just don't like them. You want to fight them as soon as you see them, and you do get people like that. And I do think that's what Fury's done with Wilder. I think Wilder's just
you can't stand the sight of him, can he?
And he just hates him, and I think that's why it's getting to a point now where there's fights, but they're not having no head-to-heads because they're terrified of what'll happen with the two of them. So I don't blame them, to be honest with you. I think if you want the fight to go ahead, keep them apart and let them get in that ring and see what happens.
Love it. Well, looking forward to obviously the show in Liverpool on Saturday and then switching to Vegas. Massive night of boxing. Stephen, thank you very much, and pleasure to speak to you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.